Hey, good morning. 6/16 Monday, June 22nd. Continuing along with the Revit tutorial, modeling floors, ceilings, and floor and roofs. Now, it goes back into defining a pad, and we discussed pads way back in Chapter 3, the basics of the toolbox. But I'm just going to reiterate it real quick because that lesson is something we went over. But if you remember, a pad can cut a topo surface. Now, a topo surface, if you remember, can be drawn from the masking site ribbon, a topo surface. So if we were to go to a level, let's say if we were going to go to site, and we were to create a topo surface with an elevation starting at 0. Actually, we can even say, let's say 0. Let's say 0 for starters. Let's just start way over here. I mean, you can see the project base point and the survey point shown in the site plan. Well, that's at 0 elevation. If I continue that along, maintaining 0, a little bit longer, and I move this up to say 10 feet, hit tab. The next point I draw is going to go up on an incline and create a contour to a certain extent. So now we're at 10 feet. I've also to keep that straight, come along here. We're still at 10 feet. I've also raised this back up to say 20 feet. And then continue along. Well, you're going to see more of a gradient. And if I was to go down to say 0, again, it would go and go back down. So I just accept that topo surface, and then if I was to draw a section line through it, you would see it a little more clearer in elevation. So if I was to just shade this a little bit, you see it's a brown subtopo surface, and it extends all the way down to negative 10 feet. That's where it started at that level. So now that we have that topo surface, we went back up to the site, and we would go to massing. You'll see a tool here in the model site panel, model pad. There's also a pull-out, and you can see that there's some settings for your contour line display, but we can get into that a little later. We're going to get into that when we start locating projects. But the building pad, if you hover over it, adds a building pad from a closed loop that you sketch on a topo surface. Define a topo surface before attempting to add a building pad. After sketching the pad, you can define a slope and control its height offset from the level. The topo surface will be cut or filled as required to accommodate the building pad. All right, so as you can see, they were at 10 feet up here. So you'll get an option to put this pad on any level you want. Well, level 1, top of footing, top of basement slab. Let's put it at level 3. Top of basement slab. Let's just draw a quick rectangular slab, 44 by 24. Height offset from level 0. Offset 0. Radius, if indeed that was your intent. Now, if you notice, you have a type here, and you'll see this is default thickness, but there also is a structure, just like the floor assembly dialog box. So we can actually edit the assembly of this floor with different layers. So it's default to 1 foot. Let's just keep it that because this exercise is just a review. And let's just hit OK. Now, if you go back to section 1, you'll see that the pad was cut. If we go to a 3D view, you can see even better. But you see the pad is now at the level that we asked. Let's just make this a little smaller than that. Still too big. It's on level 1, bottom of footing. Right? Right, let's double check that. See, sometimes these things can play havoc. If you don't get them at the right scale, they overlay, and then you're discerning what level you're actually on. So let's just make sure we got this right. So as you can see, it's right on this level here. Let's just make sure we get our bearings. Hold on. Let's highlight that level. You come back over, double check your math. Level 2, top of footing. Now you could change that. You could change that. Just, let's see here. Elevation, story above, identity data. Let's see if we can check if there's a parameter up for it in the type properties. No. All right, so it's where it is, and you're going to need to discern when you place it. Story above. Let's just see some of these properties so we can manipulate them. We'll get into that. I wanted to show you this in 3D. I don't want to go off on a tangent. All right, so as you can see, there's the pad level, top of basement slab. So, and it goes in the negative direction, right? It goes in the negative direction. So you can see the top of it, it's top of basement slab, and its thickness is 12, and it goes in the negative direction. All right, I just want to touch on that, and the paragraph reads as this. A paragraph is technically not a floor, but has properties similar to a floor. What differentiates a pad is its ability to cut into a toposurface and define the lowest limits of a building's basement or cellar. If desired, you can configure the pad to represent a slab on grade. This pad tool can be found on the model site panel of the massing and site tab. If you do not see this tab, you can access it by clicking the application button and choosing options, user interface. That's a pretty quick explanation of it, and you can explore that more. But I think that's a pretty good explanation of it right now. So good morning. Nice to see you again. Hopefully you got your coffee. This is a unique opportunity. How often, at the age of 50, do you get an opportunity to dive back into the books? Anyway, education is a lifetime endeavor.